All right, so now we're gonna talk about some legal terms. We've already talked about some legal terms, but I'm gonna harp on, the following. We talked about the castle doctrine. Are you ready? All right, the castle doctrine is, we wanna first of all we wanna identify what is a man or a woman's castle in here in the state of Georgia. Now, we always said your house is your what?
Castle.
Okay, we're gonna start putting that down. Your house, that's your first castle. In other words, if somebody breaks in your house, you do not have the duty or obligation to get out of your house and let that man finish his business. You don't have to do that no more. Why? Because it's your what? It's your castle. Alright? It's your castle. You break in that man or woman's house, you should expect to get shot. Everybody got that? Bottom line, there's no reading between the lines. Now, on the same level of your house, here in Georgia, your car, if you're in it, your car is your castle. If you're inside your car. Now, if you're not in your car, you can't use that. That was you had a question last time, what if someone tried to break into your car? We call that a carjacking.
Right,
Alright? If you had your gun in your car, now let me go this here. Can you walk around your house or your castle with a gun on your hip?
No.
Why not?
You can if you want to, but.
Okay, because I want to hear the right terminology, because it's your what?
Your castle.
Alright, I want to make sure you understand that. And there's no reading between the lines on this. We don't care if you walk around with an AR-15 frying eggs. Who cares? It's your what?
Castle.
Okay. In your car, we don't care if you have a gun in your car in this state, because it's what? It's your what? Wait a minute, you mean to tell me I can have a gun in my car? Do I need a permit? No. Do you need a permit to walk around in your frying eggs in your shorts with an AR-15 on your shoulder? No, you don't need a permit there either. So the same way, you don't need a permit to have a gun in your car. Make sure you're not a convicted felon, okay? But you don't have to have a permit to have your gun in that car. It is your castle. Go ahead.
So what about when they stop you for when you get stopped by the police and they see you have a gun in your vehicle and they confiscate your gun?
Okay, so now that's a good question. When a law enforcement officer is conducting a traffic stop, he has a right to be there, right? You did some type of violation, and he's introduced himself, and he noticed that there's a firearm there. Folks, his safety is going to trump your right to carry at that time. If he feels that I'm going to secure that gun, and not confiscate it, I'm going to secure it for my safety. It's called officer safety. And then a lot of times they will take if it's a clip, they'll take the clip out and lock the slide to the rear. All right. And now, if he's going to write you a ticket, he's going to tell you to get back into the car. He still has your weapon. He's going to give you that $500 ticket, that super speeder ticket, and have you sign there. All right. If you probably had your gun, you'd probably be mad as on the what, right? But guess where your gun is at? It's on the trunk of your car. You're gonna sign off that ticket, and he's gonna tell you, once I leave in my patrol car, then you go and get your gun back in your truck.
So they don't have a right to take your gun?
Yes, he does. Like I said before, if it's for officer safety reasons, he has a right to not confiscate, to secure your weapon for his safety.
So if he takes your gun, like
he did not give it back to you, right?
If he didn't give it back to you, then that's
well, then he had probable cause. He had probable cause. But I'm talking about you pull somebody over, he knows you got a gun. If that guy feels like, if my officer safety, I'm going to secure your gun for you. There's nothing you can say or do about it. NRA's not even going to back you up on it. That's officer safety.
They have to do it.
And I've done that as a law enforcement officer. All right, and people understand that it's a dangerous job. If I'm going to write you a $500 ticket, I don't want you to have that gun and I know you got a gun in your lap. No, you're going to be mad. Okay? You can get your gun after I instruct them just like this. You secure your weapon. I have the magazine clip out, and I have it in the back of your trunk. Once you see me leave in front of you, then you can go and secure your gun and place it back in your car. Nothing you can say or do about it. That's officer safety is going to trump your right at that point in time.
Well, that's understandable.
Right, but a lot of people don't like that.
There's so many officers getting
You
killed.
got that right. I'm just telling you, not even the NRA is gonna fight for you on that. All right, just comply at that point in time.
Yeah, look.
Okay. So now we talk about so far we got 2 castles, right? Let's get a 3rd castle. Place of business. Right now, if the owner of this building says, I don't care, everybody can carry a gun here. Everybody can be in here strapped. Okay? I mean, everybody, not everybody can carry a gun in my place. Because you're inside my castle. Well, I'm extending that right for you to carry inside my castle. Now, be advised, if you come up to that door, and that sign is there conspicuously, and it says no firearms. In other words, it has a picture of a gun and an X going right through it. That means you cannot violate that owner's right for it to say, I want no guns in here. Okay? You can go to jail for that. But if he says, I don't mind you having guns in here, this is your castle. You can walk around with your gun all day on your hip here in this state. Everybody understand that? All right. Last but not least, hotel and Airbnb. Now, again, if that hotel says no guns, you shouldn't bring your gun in there. If that Airbnb property owner says no guns, you shouldn't bring your gun in there. But if they don't say it, you can bring your gun in there. In this state. Why? Because it's your what?
It's your-
I'm sorry, say again?
it's your castle.
Your castle. Just using the right terminology. It's your castle. All right. Now let's say, an example, you're out of your castle, and you want to use force. In other words, you see this umbrella here? This umbrella is designed for it won't rain on your head. It's designed for it won't rain on your head, folks. All right. Okay. So now, if you're outside of these castles, and you can write this down. This is a great thing to teach your family with, because a lot of them don't know. Write down a piece of paper and this chart, just like this. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Number 1, right to be there. Number 2, you are not the aggressor. Number 3, you did not pursue, invite trouble. And last but not least, number 4, fear of your life. There you go. Write those 4 down. You're outside of your castle. You're walking out to the parking lot. Now, the state of Georgia is saying now, if somebody comes up to you, all right, you better make sure you can utilize this stand your ground law. This is called stand your ground. You better have it right. If you're going to use it, you sure better have it right. And this is outside of your castle, folks. This is outside of your castle. Watch your fingers there on the camera lens. Thank you. All right. This is very important. Okay, number 1. You have the right to be there. Now, let's say, for example, you're dumpster diving at 3 in the morning behind Publix. Okay? Looking for boxes. So, because you're moving or whatever the case may be. You have your gun on you. You have a concealed carry permit. And you have your gun on you. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. All right? Publix is closed. But you're out there dumpster diving, right? So while you're dumpster diving, a homeless man comes up to you and says, with a knife, hey, get out of my living room. You got your gun on you, you know, that knife, if it sticks you, you're gonna probably kill you, right? Or if you get hit the right way, it's probably gonna cause great bodily harm. So you pull your gun out. All right, can you stand your ground on that guy? In other words, do you have a duty or an obligation to retreat? Number 1 is gonna get you. You don't have the right to be behind that store at 3 o'clock in the morning. So you can't use it already. You have to comply with all 4 of these stand your ground issues. Number 1, you got to have a right to be there. You better make sure you check this if you're going to use it. Now, folks, if you don't have all 4, there's still a law on the books called self-defense. You can always use that. But if you're going to use this umbrella so it won't rain on your head, you better have all 4 of these favorably answered. All right, number 1, right to be there. Number 2, are you the aggressor? Did you start this mess? Generally, it won't be you, okay? Hopefully. All right, you can check that. Number 3, did you chase somebody down or did you tell that man or woman to come over here and bother you? Okay? I'm glad they put down or invite. Underline that. Invite. Let's say, for example, someone owes somebody some money, right? You tell Mr. Clark, Mr. Clark, come over to my house and let's talk about the money you owe me. And as soon as he gets in there, pop, shoots him. And you want to use the castle doctrine. Can you do that?
No.
No. Did you see why they put invite there? You can't invite nobody to where you're at. You better make sure you can check this. Got it? If you want to call your ride if you want to.
Me?
Mm-hmm. And number 4, you're in fear of your life. You better make sure you're in fear of your life. If you do, check. And if you have all 4 of these down, you can plant your feet solid and stand your ground. You do not have to run anymore. That's what it means, folks. Everybody
So
understand
could
it?
a right to be there be a point of,
You're there
say
legally.
you're going to the grocery store
Uh-huh.
and somebody comes to your vehicle, you're in the parking lot, you park your car there, somebody comes up to you and they try to attempt to do something.
Uh-huh.
If you can, is that
You're in that parking lot legally?
I mean, I went there to go buy groceries.
You're in that parking lot legally? Check.
Yeah.
Number 2, did you start this mess?
No.
All right, you wouldn't cuss the man out in the store, none of that? All right, check. Number 3, did you pursue or did you tell him to come over and bother you?
No.
Check. Number 4, now, are you in fear of your life because somebody's over there bothering you?
Yeah.
Somebody come up
So
to
tell me more than how you in fear of your life. You better have this, it better pass the smell test to a judge because your judge is going to have to give you and grant you this umbrella so that the district attorney don't come down on you like a ton of bricks.
Okay, what if it was a man, I'm a woman, and what if he came up to me, I felt like he came really close to me.
So you got to go and you didn't shoot him because of that?
Well, no, I wouldn't, I'm just saying, like, in a scenario, like, would that be looked
I'm
at?
rolling with your scenario.
Okay, so he came up to me and, he tries to, he's yelling at me, or he's blocking me from getting in my
Are you in
car.
fear of your life?
Yeah, because why are you blocking me from getting in my car?
Okay, now let's say for example we got a jury here.
Mhm.
We just heard, and I have 2 women and 1 man here, and we're going to see if she was in fear of her life. You think she was in fear of her life in a situation like that? Justified to kill that man?
No.
Do you think she was justified to kill that man?
No.
Do you think she was justified to kill that man? Now you see how your jury of your peers is going to judge you. That's before the judge even judges you, or the district attorney you get the case. All right, you got to be in fear of your life. You about to die.
So
Just
who
because
I would
somebody is aggressive and want to talk to you doesn't mean you can shoot them. That's really what you got. You got somebody that's aggressive and they want to quote unquote holler at you.
Wouldn't he have to have some kind of weapon?
You
or-
better make sure that if you just like an average prudent people around you that they're gonna say, yeah, I would be in fear of my life too.
But
There was nothing.
as a woman, like, you don't have
Where was you in fear of your life because you're a woman and there's a man talking with you? You can't outright. You can't. No one's gonna outright.
I said if I'm at my car and he just come and say
You're not in your car yet. You didn't say that. You said you was
Because
walking.
I'm going to my car, maybe putting my
Okay, you
groceries
going
in
to
my
your car.
car, and he comes and he stops me from getting he grabs my door handle before I can grab it.
Okay, you didn't say all that.
No, he doesn't.
Even if he did grab your door handle, tell me where you're in fear of your life.
I can't get in my car. Why he not?
So
letting
you're in
me
fear
get
of your
in my
life, so you're
car?
gonna shoot the man. Are you what you're saying?
Yeah, because what I'm gonna do if I can't get in my car?
Okay, so for him stopping you, I need you to understand this. It's important. For him stopping you or blocking you for not getting in your car, he just wanted to talk with you for whatever reason. You had a gun, you swerve my way. You were blocking me from getting in my car. Does that make sense to you? Any
So
person?
the only thing that would make it in fear of my life is if I tried to attempt to tell the man hey
Nope.
or push him off.
No,
he
no,
did
you
still.
better make sure you pass the smell test to, first of all, that detective that's gonna come up there. And that police officer, he goes, man, I don't think she just shot that man. We already said your classmates here saying, nah.
'Cause
So that means you gotta rethink everything.
if he don't have a weapon, or he.
Yeah.
Now, if he's physically attacking you,
That's what I was just finna say.
if he's someone my size physically attacking you, and you're about, I mean, how will you look trying to defend yourself on somebody my size that knows how to fight? You won't. If you had a gun then, now that's a whole different situation. But the situation you gave, this man's just trying to holler at you. You're gonna shoot him. Okay? You got to be literally in fear of your life. If you gotta know what fear of your life means, you're about to die. You're about to die. That man wasn't about to kill you. See, this is where we need to change the way we think. Okay? Some people will pull a gun if someone disrespects you. That's how they think. They pull a gun on somebody, you're disrespecting me. Come on. We need to start and do better and understand what this law means. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Alright? Fear of your life means you're about to die. Just because the man's in your way don't mean you're about to die. That will put you in prison for a long time. Alright? So now, let me give you another scenario. I'm gonna go back to you right now. Here's a scenario. You're walking from Red Lobster, right? You walk to your car, and all of a sudden you have someone says he said, "Hey, give me all your money and give me all of that food you're bringing home to." You got your gun in your purse, or you got your gun on your person. What do? Can you use the stand your ground?
You asking me?
I'm asking you. Only you. Here's
Yeah.
the cheat sheet. Make sure all these one through four. Go ahead.
Yeah, because he
And
tried.
let's go to number one. What does number one says?
I have a right to be there.
Do you have a right to be in that parking lot?
Yes.
Walking to your car. Check. Number two, are you the aggressor or are you the one starting this?
No.
Number three, did you chase this man down or did you invite him to come over there and attempt to rob you?
No.
Alright? And number four, are you in fear of your life?
Yes.
Okay, how are you in fear of your life?
Because he's threatening to rob me.
Yeah, he's attempting to rob you. Alright. Now they say, listen, I'm gonna go back to your jury, which is your classmates. Do you feel that she's justified in using deadly force?
Yeah.
Do you feel that she's justified using deadly force?
Yes.
What about you? Why not?
Because he threatened to rob her, he had to physically.
Did he threaten her? He said, "Give me your money and give me your food that you're taking out."
Actually, nah.
Because he haven't done anything to her. He just said, "Give me." You
But-
know, he didn't come up and take it, or he didn't push her, or.
Yeah, that's what I'm
he
saying.
put his
You
hands
got
on
to
her.
know this law, and we have to unprogram ourselves when you want to apply this. Because when you apply it, it is a good law. The stand your ground is a good law. Okay? If you know how to apply this law, that was going to be beneficial to you and your family and your community. Now, when this thing first came out, there was in a lot of our minority communities, they were saying this is not a good law. You don't hear anything about it no more, right? Do you? Because the facts are now out. The minorities are using this 3 times as much as a non-minority, and it's been working for them. That's why you don't hear anything about the stand your ground law anymore. Okay? They're starting to learn this, and they know that, hey, a lot of your carjackings, a lot of your burglars are happening in some of our communities. And you're going to need that umbrella. So it won't rain on your head with the district attorney coming down on you.
So, out of these words here, robbery, theft, let's say burglary, battery, and robbery, all of those could be used,
No, not necessarily battery, because if somebody just touching you illegally is a battery, you ain't that man or woman that give you permission to touch it. You can't shoot somebody for that.
what about if it was closed fist?
Doesn't matter. You got to prove that you're in fear of your life. If you're not in fear of your life, you can't shoot nobody. You can't kill nobody. I know it's hard for us to unprogram ourselves the way we see stuff on TV. They'll put a knife. They'll bring a gun or a knife to a verbal altercation, and that's where you mess up at.
But it's not. But I'm not saying this. I'm just saying it so I can understand. I'm not saying it
I'm here
because.
to help you.
Yeah, I'm not trying to just. I'm just saying it so I can understand it.
Yes.
And I'm saying like if you're getting into if somebody hits you with a closed fist,
Okay.
if somebody hits somebody with a closed fist, and you know they're beating them, you know they're fighting, they're beating them, they're not winning the fight, and somebody you know goes gets their gun and shoots them, or they just happen to have their gun on them and they shoot them. And what if they don't die either? You know, they just shoot the
Well,
person.
this is where.
Could that still be stand your
No,
ground?
nope, not at all. Just listen. If it's two women fighting in the middle of the street, and one of them have a gun, and they're mutually talking crap to each other, we call that a mutual affray. They're mutually talking crap to each other, and they start to fight. All right, one of them kind of losing the fight, so she gets her gun that's on her and pulls out and shoots the other. Well, she just needs to be prepared to go spend about 20 years in prison. You can't shoot somebody and kill somebody because you're losing a fight. Does that make sense? You cannot shoot anybody and kill somebody because you're losing a fight.
But if you're getting hurt bad, if you didn't got your eye bruised up and stuff, like how do you know
You
that
just lost
how's
a
that
fight. You
how's
just-
that not being fearful? Like, oh, this person
Well,
might knock me out.
I hope you changed your way of thinking. You just lost a fight.
Last week, these young guys at 3 o'clock in the morning, they was in their basement smoking weed, drinking and going on partying. 3 o'clock in the morning. They heard a noise outside. When the young guy looked out, somebody had his mama's trunk up. They was robbing her car. But instead of them calling the police, they get their guns and open fire on the kids. Okay, if one of them guys had got killed, you were gonna be responsible. They were gonna hold you responsible. The only time you're supposed to shoot at a person is if they shooting at you first. If they shoot the first shot, then you can do that. But just because somebody doing something,
We're gonna get a little more deeper than that. But I know what you're going with, and I use that scenario all the time because I heard that happen. It happens all the time here in Atlanta. All right, we just don't. We want to go ahead and use deadly force on anything now. Deadly force. I mean, bringing a gun. You disrespect somebody. Oh, you looking at me disrespectful? Pull out a gun and shoot. People are shooting for anything now because they think that they can take a gun to solve everything and don't know that law, and then they get in prison for 20, 30 years. Mama crying, daddy crying, grandma crying because he's about to be sentenced to life.
I'm not saying this because I have it. Like I
No, not
don't
you.
own a gun.
We're-
I don't even own a gun. I'm just saying this to understand the law more.
Listen, we are in a training class. This is where you ask questions to learn. You understand?
But the same thing you're saying though, with the stand your ground and how a jury would tell me no, I'm not able to use that law because nobody, I was not pointing a gun at first. It's so many things that police that's been in the news about police shootings when like they stop somebody and they go reach for something or they're doing something and they get and the police is able to shoot them right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not that they have a gun on them or not that they had something they were getting ready to attack the officer, but just the look.
We're talking about, we're going into law enforcement now. We talk about the stand your ground as it relates to you and me.
So the stand your ground is still like in the scenario. I thought it was, you know, a pretty decent scenario of okay, well, something's happening to me. Before somebody's able to shoot me, because who's to say they won't get to shoot me before I shoot them if they put their gun out on me first?
No. Listen, this is what I'm trying to say to you. Is that one, if someone's arguing, if you got a gun on you, generally those who are responsible, and most of us that carry guns, are responsible not to bring a gun to a verbal altercation. That's one thing. That's number one. You know you're arguing with somebody, you got a gun on you. That means you're going to be held more responsible than the person without a gun.
Yeah.
The law going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. So if I know I had a gun on me and somebody's talking crap, all right, you won, buddy. I'm walking. That's responsible.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, because if for God's reason, for any reason, I'm arguing with this guy back and forth, and then all of a sudden he sees a gun, and he calls law enforcement. The law enforcement come there with their guns drawn at me. Why? Because I shouldn't even have my behind there in the first place talking with a gun on. You yelling at somebody. This is where responsible gun ownership happens, where you need to unpresent yourself from that situation because you got a gun on. All right. Now, going back to her situation where people are just trying. As a matter of fact, most of them are kids that are breaking into cars now. You come outside and just and give a death sentence to a 14-year-old. All right, from breaking into your car. Is that a death sentence? Is it?
If you shoot them and kill them, yeah.
No. We need to get this straight now.
Oh.
Is because someone breaking in your car,
Yeah.
should the law or anybody sentence those 14-year-old boys to death immediately?
No.
That's how we need to start looking at it. Why come out and start shooting because somebody's breaking your car? That's property.
Yeah, that's,
Stupid, isn't it?
yeah.
Now you see how the law and how people are starting to bring guns and introducing guns to almost any and everything.
Yeah.
And without knowing that law, and then those are the ones you're gonna see the grandma crying, your mama crying, daddy crying, brothers and sisters crying. You're gonna get 20 years, the life. So that's not a death sentence when someone just breaking in their car trying to steal a PlayStation that you seen in the back seat. All right, let's look at it that way.
Because if they had killed somebody, they were going to prison.
I'm just trying to tell you, exactly. So just not knowing the law, and some of us think that way, that, I'm gonna tell you, it goes even, you don't have to do that much nowadays. Just looking at somebody wrong, they'll pull a gun. And then they'll actually say, well, man, he might have had a gun. What kind of logic is that? Prison full of people like that. Full. Know the law. Any more questions? All right. Last one on the page behind us, the Georgia Board of Private Detective and Security. That is the board that governs me and you. And we already know the statute, 5093-2. And we already know the mission of a security officer. All right. Let's take a 10-minute